Hey guys, what's up? It's Ryan Winchester here, coming at you guys with your AEW Revolution results. And holy fucking shit, guys. What a fucking show it was. Incredible show. I absolutely have no words other than just wow. The whole show just kicked ass, and I wanted to talk about it real quick. Now that I'm back home, I was originally supposed to do the video with the guys, but didn't end up happening. So everyone just had to go home. So incredible show. There's really nothing I can take away from the show. AEW Revolution, all the times that we've seen it, it seems like that entire name, that entire show, every time there's an AEW Revolution pay-per-view show, it just always delivers. And by far, it is the best damn program for All Elite Wrestling the entire calendar year. And tonight just proved why. Just like it did last year too. So, let's talk about it. So, before we get into the main card, we had two matches on the 0 Hour, which is the kickoff show. First match was the 12-man tag team match. I'm not going to go over all the names that were in this match. It was obviously the Bang Scissor Gang, Jay White, Austin and Colton Gunn, Bullet Club Gold. They are the 6-man Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, teaming with the Acclaimed, Daddy Ass, Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, and Daddy Ass, who are the AEW Trios World Title holders. So they're the Ultimate Faction, Bang Scissor Gang, and they took on the team of Jay Lethal, Saddam Sane, Jeff Jarrett, Private Party, Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, and Willie Mack, which was interesting to say the least, because I feel like throwing Private Party in there with Willie Mack just didn't really make any sense to put him with the pairing of Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Saddam Sane, knowing that those guys are doing their own thing and they're their own faction heel thing or whatever. So the fact that you put everyone together as a tag team in that, it's just, I don't know, didn't really add up. The match wasn't bad. I feel like, it was definitely random to say the least. I don't know what Tony Khan was thinking. Obviously, he's trying his hardest to get everyone on the show. But it was just like I was saying in the prediction video, like Jay White went from being the #1 contender for the AEW World Title in the main event of Full Gear to now being on the pre-show with the Acclaim. So that's what Tony Khan thinks right now of Jay White. Obviously, he's not going to be in this category for a long time. I know he's got potential. I know he has big plans for a big superstar like Jay White ever since joining All Elite Wrestling. So hopefully things end up changing in the future for Jay White. So as expected, the Bang Scissor Gang pull out the win here. Like I said, it wasn't a bad match. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was great. And it really didn't really give me like a pay-per-view quality type of match. It just felt like one of those matches you would see on Dynamite or on a Collision, to say the least. But I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Jay White is obviously the one that pulled up the W for his team, and he cut a promo after the match, just thanking Greensboro for being in attendance and for being fans of them, and for telling everyone to throw their guns up and to tell the Acclaim that they need to scissor him. It was great. But like I said, I don't see this lasting much longer, so something's gonna be happening pretty soon, and don't be surprised when it happens. That's all I'm gonna say with that. Moving on to the women's tag match. This was fun. We had Julia Hart and Sky Blue taking on the team of Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale. And Malcolm Bivens was on commentary for this match, or was he on ringside? I wasn't really paying attention to that. But regardless, he was out there supporting his girls, Willow and Chris Statlander. So, but this was a fun little tag match. It was great. I'm pretty sure we all were watching the TV very closely, mainly on this match alone, based on what these women were wearing for the ring gear. That's all I'll say on that. But the match overall was great. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, there was just it was surprising to not see Julia Hart and Sky Blue pick up the win here. That's what I had predicted. I thought they were gonna pull out the W, but Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale won this match. So kudos to them. Good on them. Moving on, we have the main card now. So it was the TNT title match. Christian Cage defending against Daniel Garcia. This is what kicked off the pay-per-view. Very, very good match. Everyone thought that Adam Copeland was going to get involved. Everyone thought that Adam Copeland was going to return and possibly cost Christian Cage the TNT title and crown Daniel Garcia the new TNT champion. Unfortunately, there was no sign of Adam Copeland on the show whatsoever. So basically, Daniel Garcia was out there by himself, dealing with the whole patriarchy with Nick Wayne, his mom Shayna Wayne, and Killswitch on the outside. So Daniel Garcia basically had to fight everyone by himself. Kind of surprised nobody came out there to try to even the odds with him. He basically he did what he had to do, and he put on a really good showing with Christian Cage. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing a rematch between these two guys, possibly on like a Dynamite or a Collision or something like that. But everyone thought that Daniel Garcia was going to pull out the W and win the TNT Championship. And he was very, very close. I'll give him that. He was very close at one point. He hit a pile driver towards Christian Cage towards the end of the match at one time, and I literally thought that was it. But I think he either got his foot on the rope or he held on to the bottom rope, or he was just too close to the rope. And then the ref counted 3, but obviously they saw like what they were doing, so kind of counted too early. Even though they hit the 1, 2, 3, Christian grabbed the rope and the match continued. And Daniel Garcia at that point thought he won the title, but Christian Cage ended up retaining in a great opener. This was fantastic, awesome match. And now we just have to wait to see what happens next. So Christian Cage retains. I called it. So that's another match that I got right on there. Good stuff. Also, I got to mention too, Daniel Garcia's entrance gear. He came out. He was wearing a new pants. He normally would wear like his black green pants or his black red pants. Tonight he came out wearing these pink pants, and the jacket that he was wearing was in honor of Stain because it was Stain's final match tonight. It was great. He had like Stain's Scorpion logos all around the jacket in all different colors, and that was really cool. I think that was a really cool tribute to Stain overall. So good stuff with that. Next match, we have Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson. This was the trilogy. This was the conclusion to the rivalry, the end of the rivalry, once and for all. These guys have fought many, many times in the past couple of months, especially in the Continental Classic. And it just seems like every match that these guys had together, it was just getting better and better and better and better and better. So the fact alone is for them to conclude this finally on the pay-per-view. They went all out. No pun intended, but they went all out. They put everything on the line, and they had the best fucking match out of the entire series of matches that we've seen these guys have in the past couple of months. This was amazing from start to finish. It was hard-hitting as you would expect. A lot of near falls, a lot of fucking hard-hitting back and forth sequences. Bryan's chest was fucking raw hamburger meat by the end of the match. It was just, God, it was just fucking brutal. It was bloody. It was starting to get like scar tissue, just red and shit. It was just, oof, it was just bad. And then Kingston, he got slapped around a lot of times. His wrist was like kind of like messed up a little bit towards the end of the match. The whole stipulation was, regardless whether Bryan wins or Bryan loses, he has to shake Eddie Kingston's hand after the match. And surprisingly, people for some reason, like my boys, they all thought that Bryan was going to win the Continental Crown Championships, but Eddie Kingston retained and was probably the best fucking match of the entire rivalry was the conclusion. This was just fucking amazing, and I loved it. Definitely one of my favorite matches on the entire card, but we're going to talk about the rest of the matches too, because if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys, and I think the guys agreed with me as well, every match delivered on this fucking card. There was not one bad match, and that is including the 0 hour. I literally enjoyed every fucking match that Tony Khan produced on this pay-per-view from start to finish. It was great. So Eddie Kingston retains, and afterwards, Bryan Danielson ended up shaking his hand finally, after all the wars, after all the bickering, after all the arguments, after all the beatdowns, everything. After everything that these guys have been through, he finally shook Eddie Kingston's hand, and he even raised up his arm too. And then after the show went off the air, there was a video that was on Twitter, or on X rather, of them two sitting backstage with the doctor, and it was great. It was just so awesome to see this. Kingston said it flat out that this wasn't about the championship, even though it was. The title was on the line. It was all about respect. And for Eddie Kingston to finally earn Bryan Danielson's respect, it was great. He told him that it means the absolute world to him. He wants guys like Joe, Claudio, and Mox, 3 main people. Those are the 3 names that he brought up. I don't know if he brought anybody else, but those are the names I remember he brought up: Joe, Claudio, and Mox. Those are the 3 names alone that he wanted to have his respect, and Bryan Danielson was another one. So for him to feud with Claudio for so long, and then when he won the ROH World Championship from Claudio, and then shook his hand afterwards, that was already getting Claudio's respect. Obviously, they were still feuding a little bit afterwards, but eventually Claudio got his respect. And then obviously Mox got his respect because these guys fought in World's End in the finale of the Continental Classic, where Eddie Kingston beat Mox, and it was amazing. Obviously, these guys are best friends in real life. They have a long history with each other. So you knew for a fact that they were going to respect each other after the match, especially because they were former tag team partners a couple of years back. So, and now Bryan Danielson being in that mix is fantastic. So, good stuff. And Bryan, he even gave his flowers to Eddie Kingston, told him that after everything they've been through, he's like, I know I messed up his wrist pretty good, and he said, I personally feel good for going out there and having a war with Eddie Kingston. After months and months and months, they finally concluded their saga, and now these guys can move on to better things. So, great stuff there. Great storytelling, and I loved it. Next up, we have the 8-man All-Star Scramble. So this was previously supposed to be, what do you call it, a meat madness. If you don't know what exactly that was all about, Tony Khan basically threw in Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Lance Archer in a 3-way. And he called it Meat Madness. Reason being is because we're in March now. March Madness, Meat Madness. So that's where that came from. He ended up scrapping the entire thing, and instead he threw the 3 guys into this all-star 8-man scramble match, with the last 2 participants earning the right to be a part of this match. Magnus earned his right on Rampage, defeating Matt Sydal, and Dante Martin earned his right by beating Penta El Cero Miedo and Brian Keefe, who was recently signed to All Elite Wrestling, in a 3-way on Collision. So that's how them 2 got into the match. So you had Magnus from CMLL. I'm not too familiar with him. But you had Magnus, you had Dante Martin, because those 2 earned the right. Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Lance Archer, that's 5. Chris Jericho, that's 6. And 2 other names. Don't remember the other 2. But the point being is, these guys, they went out there, they put on a banger. I enjoyed this. You knew it was going to be all over the place, because it's just 8-man, pretty much no rules. Pretty much it's just a fight to the finish. Whoever gets the pinfall, whoever submits first is obviously the winner in this whole thing. The whole part of this thing being, the reason why this was made is because obviously Joe, or whoever walks out as the AEW World Champion at the end of the night, is going to need a new contender, is going to need a new, fresh, new matchup. So whoever wins this match is the new #1 contender to the AEW World Championship. Well, the only person that was worthy to win this match, as we talked about in the prediction video, was, of course, Undisputed Kingdom's Wardlow. And the reason being is because he cut an incredible promo on Dynamite, and then he also had a back and forth exchange with Jericho on Collision. And it pretty much set everything right there. Why wouldn't you want to have Wardlow win this thing? He's been in AEW since day one. He's been TNT champion 2 or 3 times now. Really hasn't done anything since then, because Tony Khan just left him fucking out there doing nothing, collecting dust and just fucking sitting there. And Wardlow had enough of it. So what does he decide to do? He teams up with Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Undisputed Kingdom, aligns himself with these guys, and then boom, just like that, Wardlow's back on TV. And now Wardlow is the new #1 contender for the All Elite Wrestling World Championship. Perfect. That's how you get Wardlow back into the title picture, let alone the world title picture. So now with Wardlow being the new #1 contender, he now becomes a serious threat to everyone on the main roster. And it all makes sense. Fantastic. Nothing better I could have asked for. But this was great. So Wardlow comes out victorious. Like I said, not a bad match at all. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was random, but it was fun. Everyone pretty much hit their finishers in the match. There was at one point where Jericho and I think, I want to say it was Dante Martin or somebody. It was like a double submission hold. Jericho had the walls, and I think Dante had like a crossface, or it was somebody. I think it was Hook. It might have been Hook. And it was just like a double submission hold. And then like Brian Cage broke it up with like a super kick. And then Brian Cage powerbomb, I think it was Hook or Dante or somebody. Lance Archer got in there a couple times and whatever. Magnus, he did a couple high-flying moves. Hobbs was just wreaking havoc. And then Wardlow was the one that walked out victorious, as he should. So that was that. Next up, we have the international title match. Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong. Speaking of Undisputed Kingdom, as I mentioned before, Roderick Strong, he is a threat to Orange Cassidy's title because, like I said, if you want their faction to be taken seriously, you have to put titles on these guys. You already have the Kingdom as the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, although they haven't done shit with it. Those titles are fucking meaningless. They're worthless. Don't know why they exist right now. Overall, now you have these guys as champions. So what do you do now? Well, now that you got Wardlow as the #1 contender for the world title, that now just leaves Roderick Strong. So Roderick Strong fought Orange Cassidy. Fantastic match, as we knew it would be. Orange Cassidy always puts on bangers. His body was already banged up as it was from just all the wars that he's had recently, defending the title as many times as he could in the past couple weeks on these other events that were non-televised, on Collision, on Dynamite, on Rampage, you name it. Orange Cassidy's just a workhorse champion. So the doctor said that he would not be able to defend the title unless he was like well, obviously he's banged up, but they had to like tape his ribs and his back, and just had all that like tape on him or whatever. So he did it. He's like, yeah, it's fine. So he went out there, did his thing, put on a banger of Roderick Strong. But in the end, Roderick Strong ended up winning the AEW International title. And Orange Cassidy told his best friends, and he told Rocky Romero to all stay in the back. And he said he's going to do his thing on his own, which he did. But Roderick Strong ended up pulling out the W, and now he is the new AEW International Champion. Perfect stuff here. So there you go. Look what we've done here. So not only do you have the Kingdom holding the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles, now you have Roderick Strong with the international title, and then the big picture right here, the big whole fucking circle around this thing, is you have Wardlow, your biggest guy in that faction group, is now a serious threat to whoever walks out with the AEW World Championship. Perfect. That's how you book a dominant faction like the Undisputed Kingdom. That's how you do it. Next up, we have, before I even get to that too, Kyle O'Reilly. We haven't seen him in over 2 years because the man was injured. Kyle O'Reilly made his return after this match. I forgot I was gonna skip that, but I almost forgot. I needed to mention that. And we didn't even recognize him at first. We knew it was him by the face, but when we saw him actually like on camera, I was like, hello? That's Kyle O'Reilly? The man grew out his hair and he looked completely different, but holy shit, does he look great. He looks like he's in the best shape of his life. So for him to come back and be a part of this whole thing, he teased that he was going to join Undisputed Kingdom, but he ended up declining the offer. And he kind of just walked away. So could we be seeing Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong for the international title? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Great to see Kyle O'Reilly back, man. He looks great. FTR fought BCC. Shut up. Don't even say anything. FTR fought BCC. This is a rematch from Dynamite. This is also this is basically what we saw on Collision as well. I mean, these guys have just been going at it for weeks now. This is, like I said, there's no story to this match. There's really no reason why you should have this match. It's basically you're just giving two tag teams, two of the best tag teams in the entire fucking wrestling industry, in Blackpool Combat Club and FTR, going at it to see who is the better tag team, who is the dominant tag team. There's no story to this. There's really no story to it. So that's why it doesn't really make any sense. But the match alone, oh my God, was it fucking good, man. And let me tell you, Dax Harwood looked like an absolute bloody fucking mess. I don't know what caused him to start bleeding like crazy, but holy shit, man, this man was bleeding profusively to the point where at the end of this thing, it looked like a complete fucking murder scene. The entire fucking canvas was just covered in Dax's dry blood. It was wicked. It was nasty. But it was just fantastic. I love this. I love this. This was just great. This was hard hitting. Complete back and forth action is what you would expect. So many crazy spots in this match too. I'm not going to go over everything, but man, dude, it was great. At the end of this thing, they hit the Shatter Machine. Claudio kicked out. Mox ended up hitting the Paradigm Shift. And I believe Cash Wheeler broke it up. And at the end of this thing, it was Mox that applied the sleeper hold. I think it was on the Dax, because Dax was the one already bleeding. And then Claudio came in and he intervened. And he also put a chokehold onto Cash Wheeler. And then one of these guys tapped out, or both of them tapped out. But that was the end of that. So this was fun, man. This was really fun. Definitely, if there's definitely something you want to go back and watch on this card, it was this match alone between FTR and BCC. I still feel like they should have added a stipulation to it, whether it should have been a dog collar match or a 2 out of 3 falls. The thing that they did put out there was that in their previous encounter on Dynamite, it was a 20-minute time limit. They went to a draw. For the pay-per-view, they announced it was going to be a 30-minute time limit. And they did not go to a draw. We actually had a winner here. So there you go. So BCC pull out the W here. I don't know what they're getting out of this. I don't know if they're now the new number one contenders to the AEW Tag Team Championships. I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see. But John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, they win this match. Don't know what they're going to be doing with FTR. We'll have to wait and see. But awesome stuff here. Next up, we have the women's title match. Deonna Purazzo, Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. I don't know. I feel like this was probably one of the shorter matches on the card. I'm not sure if they gave them a good amount of time. They might have been like 10, 12 minutes. I'm not really sure. But this was good too. Both women, they go in at it. I think they fought one time in like New Japan, if I remember correctly. At least that was something that was brought up. But they obviously have their history. They're former roommates. They're former best friends. And with Deonna Purazzo already like joining All Elite Wrestling while Toni Storm is the champion. It's just the history there is just, it's great. So for Deonna Purazzo to already be thrown into the title picture this soon into her career in All Elite Wrestling, it's great because she is an amazing competitor. She's awesome at what she does. So, and plus she was Knockouts champion in TNA when she was there. So, I mean, why wouldn't you want to not put the title on Deonna Purazzo? Now, although I stated I wanted Deonna Purazzo to win, I was wrong. Toni Storm ended up retaining. And it kind of made sense too, just because Deonna Purazzo just came into AEW. So I can understand why you want to keep the title on Toni Storm for right now. But mark my words, Deonna Purazzo will be AEW Women's World Champion sometime this year. And if it's not this year, it's for sure next year. So keep that in mind. The one thing that threw everybody off, like literally everybody off, was the fact alone was that when Toni Storm made her entrance, well, we at least thought it was Toni Storm that came out first. It was actually Mariah May. She was dressed up as Toni Storm. Not just as Toni Storm from when she was first in AEW. It also looked like the version of Toni Storm from NXT Black and Gold. Because she had the longer blondish hair with the snapback. So that brought me back to her NXT days. But then when Toni Storm actually came out, that's when I was like, wait a minute, that's not Toni Storm. That's Mariah May cosplaying as Toni Storm. And it threw everybody off completely. We're like, oh shit, what the fuck? So, yeah, that was that. So she fooled us all. So, good on that. Toni Storm retains. They're obviously going to be picking up this rivalry. I don't think it's over yet. I think it just started. We're going to be getting more out of it. I don't know if they're going to continue on it or if they're going to be taking a break from it. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But, fun match. All right, so we have 3 matches left to talk about. And this alone, when it was announced, by far, my God, man. This was the match that I was looking forward to the most on this entire card. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita. And Will Ospreay's first ever AEW match as an AEW superstar. Like I said, this is not his first ever AEW match. He's been on AEW countless amount of times. He's been on Forbidden Door. He's been on Dynamite. He's been all over the place. I think he's been on Rampage too. He's been on Collision. So, but for him to be signed into All Elite Wrestling, this is his first ever match. What better way to give him a debut than with a fucking banger with an amazing competitor like Konosuke Takeshita? And oh my God, man. I don't even want to... There's really not much I can say than holy shit. When I said that these guys were going to be match of the night, they fucking blew my goddamn mind. We were all on the edge of our seat. We literally all came out of our chairs towards the end of this match. It was a fucking amazing. There were so many times Konosuke Takeshita, he hits fucking move after move after move on Ospreay. Ospreay got a lot of offense in. Ospreay got turned inside out a couple of times where his body just went fucking numb. It was just, oh my God, it was crazy. And then the most nastiest bump that he took, oh my God. I don't even know what to call it. It was like a brain buster off the top rope or off the middle rope, and Ospreay landed. Oh my God, bro. But it's just the way he was landed. He landed on his lower back, and when I tell you the gas, the cringe that we had, our teeth were grinding when we seen the camera zoom into Ospreay's lower back, and all you saw was just that nasty bruise, that nasty red purple bruise. That shit had to hurt because, oh my God, man, the camera angle on that was just, ooh, it was gruesome. And Ospreay still managed to fucking finish the match, and he still managed to do his thing. It's just, oh man, it was fucking great. It was fantastic. Will Ospreay is a fucking beast, man. God damn it. I'm so glad they signed him because he is going to be a fucking star in All Elite Wrestling. Mark my words. He is the future of the goddamn company. And everyone thought he was jumping ship to WWE. That didn't happen. But you know what? AEW took control, and here he is. So I'm glad that he's here. And holy fuck is he over with the crowd. Everyone loves him. And I will say too, his theme song is just amazing, man. Elevated Ospreay. Dude, I mean, come on, bro. Like, you be blasting that shit. Having it on repeat, you can be banging to that in the gym. I mean, bro, that shit's a banger. If you want to talk about one of the best songs in AEW right now, it's Will fucking Ospreay. Bruv, it's Ospreay. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Aussie, oi. Aussie, oi. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. I mean, bro, like, Ospreay is the shit, bro. Oh my God. You guys need to watch that match. If you have not seen this match, oh my God, you are in for a fucking treat. Will Ospreay is somebody that you're going to be paying close attention to in All Elite Wrestling. Holy shit. This was a match of the year contender. And we're only in fucking March. We're only into 3 months into the 2024. And we're already making this a match of the year contender because how fucking great it was. It was amazing. I can't get over it. You guys need to watch this match. Ospreay Takeshita, Revolution, 2024. Go and watch it. That's all I gotta say. Will Ospreay wins. Banger. Moving on, guys, we have the AEW World Title match. Samoa Joe defended against Swerve Strickland and Heyman Adam Page. We originally thought Adam Page was injured going into this match, only to fool Swerve. Swerve attack him from behind with the crutch. First off, you're not going to turn your back on somebody if they're holding a crutch, acting like they're injured when they're not. Swerve fell for that, and he admitted that he was wrong for that. And Heyman fooled him. And one thing that I want to talk about too is everyone knew for a fact that Swerve was the heel when this rivalry started. Heyman was the babyface. Reason being was because Swerve went into Heyman's house and was threatening his fucking child. His kid, who's not even a toddler. He was in his fucking crib. He's still like a newborn, like a 1-year-old, 2-year-old kid. And Swerve went in there with Prince Nana threatening the poor little child. And Heyman wanted to beat his fucking ass for that. And then it just kind of rekindled. And they have the fucking Texas death match at Full Gear. And oh my god. Oh my god. The most intense fucking match I've ever seen in my entire fucking life watching pro wrestling. Swerve, Heyman, Texas death match. Full Gear 2023. Every time I just, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the amount of brutality, oh my god, just brutal. All I think about is when Swerve was bleeding out of his head, Heyman stapled. This man used a staple gun and stapled Swerve's head, stapled Swerve's chest. Swerve was just bleeding profusely from his head, gushing blood, and this motherfucker Heyman, so sadistic, goes under Swerve as he's dripping blood from his head and just drinks the blood like he's a fucking vampire. I mean, bro, when's the last time you seen something like that in professional wrestling? What the fuck did I just watch? This whole rivalry is just fucking amazing. This will go down as one of the best fucking rivalries in AEW history. Heyman, Adam Page, Swerve Strickland. Point being is, Swerve started this thing as the heel. Heyman started the thing as the babyface. And now it looks like they transition. They pull a double turn. Swerve has been trying to go into this world title picture ever since he got himself into the world title picture with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe won the title at World's End from MJF. MJF hasn't been seen since, so he's recovering. Swerve's been trying to, he's just always been talking about how he wants to become the first ever African-American AEW World Champion, because it hasn't happened yet. Swerve will do that, and I think he will still do that. But Heyman just does not want Swerve to win. Heyman is just on Swerve's ass 24/7. Ever since they had the Texas Death Match, these guys are glued to each other. These guys just despise one another. And I love it. It's just so good. It just makes you want to keep watching. It's not one of those fucking rivalries where it's just like, oh, you know, they have some good matches here and there, and then it just starts to die down, nothing else happens, and then you kind of just like lose interest into it. No, nothing like that. It was fucking great. Heyman was just jealous of Swerve. That's all he was. He was just jealous of Swerve. He does not want Swerve to win that championship. And this is exactly what he did in the title match. This was great. Fucking amazing. Samoa Joe retains because of, believe it or not, Heyman. Heyman was in the Coquito clutch, and he could have kept going, but Swerve was about to go in there and break it up. Heyman tapped out. Why? Because he wanted to not let Swerve win. He refused to let Swerve Strickland win. Amazing stuff. The story is just keeps progressing more and more. It just gets better every single time. The hatred these men have for each other. It's mainly Heyman after Swerve now. It's not Swerve after Heyman. It's Heyman after Swerve now. He's just a jealous cowboy. Doesn't want him to win. He's like, I refuse to let you win. You're never going to hold on to that championship. Dude, oh my God, I just love it. Awesome stuff here. Samoa Joe retains. Great stuff. We'll have to see what happens next. I think the right step to go here is if they want to continue with another match between Swerve and Heyman, they can do that. Add another stipulation. But I think personally the next title match for Joe is going to be a regular one-on-one match with Swerve Strickland. Could you do it at Double or Nothing? It is possible. At that point on, whenever they do have their one-on-one title match, I think that's where Swerve Strickland will become the AEW World Champion. But until then, Samoa Joe should remain as champion because he's only been champion for like 2 months now. And for someone like Samoa Joe to take the title off at MJF after holding it for 400 days? Nah, Joe does not need to be a champion for 2 months. Nah, keep that title on him a little longer. But I think eventually when the time is right and the time comes, Swerve Strickland will be the one to take the title off of Samoa Joe. And finally, guys, the main event. The whole show is based off of Sting. Sting's final match ever. Not in AEW, but in pro wrestling history ever. Sting and Darby Allin, the newly crowned World Tag Team Champions, versus the EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks, Tornado Tag Match. And let me just say, the video package that they showed right when the match was about to begin, before Sting even made his entrance, fucking amazing, man. I literally almost shed a tear in my eye. It was awesome. We all stood quiet. We all paid attention to the screen. We all watched it. Looping all the way back to Sting's debut in 1988, I believe. It just rekindles all the fucking rivalries, all the matches, all the eras that Sting has been in. From Surfer Sting to WCW Sting to Crow Sting to Joker Sting to AEW Sting. Whatever. Fucking great, man. Amazing video package. I love that. That was awesome. And then when Sting finally came out, before he even came out, he had his two sons that were beat up by the Young Bucks. One of them came in dressed up as Surfer Sting, while the other one was dressed up as WCW Wolfpack Sting. And then that's when finally Sting came out, and he came out to the same song he came out with Darby Allin at All In Wembley Stadium. He came out to Metallica's Seek and Destroy. Fucking goosebumps, bro. That was awesome. Awesome. Not to mention this past Wednesday on Dynamite in the Go Home show, he did his old school entrance where he came down from the rafters and surprised the Young Bucks from behind. Sting's great at what he does. I'm so happy that Sting was still around to be doing these kind of things. That's at such an old age, to be honest. 64 years old and he's still doing crazy shit like that. You gotta give the man his props. Gotta give the man his flowers. There was a spot in this match where, I had to look away after looking at poor Darby Allin's back, because holy shit, man, I thought this man literally fucking killed himself. I don't know how the hell this man got up. This man's been put through hell. He always puts his body through fucking hell, through torture, back and forth, left and right. And he just continuously just gets up. But holy shit, man. Steen had brought in these panels of glass. And you can tell that this was not fucking fake glass. This was real solid fucking glass. He had his baseball bat and he was targeting one of the Young Bucks with it. Hits the steel steps, sees the glass panel, smacks it, and the glass shatters. The glass goes everywhere. Then he gets his boys and Darby to set up another glass panel onto a row of steel chairs, like 3 or 4 steel chairs per side. So Darby Allin, the fucking crazy son of a bitch that he is, the crazy risk taker that he is, what does he do? He sets up one of the Young Bucks, I believe it was Nicholas Jackson, goes up all the way to the top of the ladder. And if you guys remember the same exact spot that he pulled with Jeff Hardy, where he landed on all those fucking chairs, yeah, that same exact spot happened, except this time there was glass involved. And I literally fucking gasped. I completely fucking cringed. I was grossed out by what I saw. Darby Allin goes through the glass. Why? Because Nicholas was on the glass, but his brother pulled him out right when Darby jumped off the top. And all you hear is the glass shattering through Darby's body. Not even 10, 15, 20 seconds later, you look at Darby's back and it is just fucking bloody as shit. Gruesome. Disgusting. Shards of glass just pinching through his spine, through his shoulder blades, through his entire back, and just, oh god, man, it's just absolute fucking nastiness, man. Jesus Christ. I can't get over how much blood Darby Allin lost from that. Insane. And he was out for a long time. I mean, he was out for probably like a good 5-10 minutes. It looked like his body was just fucking gone. Like it had completely was gone from his body because he was just laying flat dead, covered in that glass. It was gruesome, man. It was, oh my god, it was so hard to watch. The piercings of the shattered glass that went through his back, oh my god, man, it's just terrible. Terrible. Fuck. Just nasty. Ugh. But Steen fought his way through it, and you know, he did what he had to do. There was a couple of times where you know, Steen was taken out by the Young Bucks. They did his finisher. They did the EVP knee trigger. Steen kept kicking out, and Steen even went through a table like earlier in the match before Darby Allin went through the fucking glass. He went through a table earlier in the match with like a suplex through the table, and then that's when Darby was by himself with the Young Bucks. But point being is Steen got up, then Darby went through hell, took himself out, was out for the rest of the match up until the end, and then Steen was alone with the Young Bucks, and Steen pulled out his signature move where he hulks himself up. It was fucking great. Just brings me back to the old days. And yeah, they put Steen through the table, and this motherfucker got up within seconds. I mean, he no-sold that shit. And it was great. This was a really, really good send-off. And at the end of this match, it looked like Young Bucks were about to finish this thing off, and I had predicted the Young Bucks were going to take the titles off of Steen and Darby Allin because it was Steen's last match. So I'm like, there's no way in hell that these guys are not winning. Because what would Steen be doing if he's retired, but he is still a champion? So, Darby gets up. I don't know how the fuck he got up. His back is destroyed. His back is bloody. He's a bloody fucking mess. He gets up and he puts one of the Young Bucks through the table, goes flying through the table, and Stain puts one of the Young Bucks in the Scorpion Deathlock, and that's when it ended. They tapped out. Stain and Darby Allin retain, and then the show goes off the air. I was in complete shock. I was like, holy shit, they let them keep the titles. But what does that mean now? Are we doing a tournament? Are they vacating the titles? What's going on here? Is Stain dropping his championship and giving it to Darby Allin? Is Darby Allin defending both titles by himself? How the fuck is this man even standing right now? I don't even know. But after the match, before the show went off the air, Stain cut a promo. Well, Darby grabbed the mic first, and he said, let's all pay the respect that Stain deserves, with this being his final match. And Darby, the camera zoomed in on Darby's back when Sting grabbed the microphone, and Sting said, I don't know how many stitches it's going to take to close those wounds, but Darby is a risk taker, and he's always been a risk taker. And Darby said himself that that he would die, that he would literally die in the fucking ring just to be a part of Stain's last match. That's how much Stain meant to Darby Allin. He looked at Darby Allin like he was his father figure. Darby Allin looked at Stain like he was his father figure. So, and then for Stain to put over Darby and tell him that he was his greatest tag team partner ever was fucking great. I loved every bit of that. Darby Allin put his body through fucking hell. But oh my god, dude, his back is just nasty. I can't get over that. And then, yeah, Stain, he thanked the fans. He thanked AEW. He thanked Tony Khan for everything. And that was it. They ended the show like that. And then I guess, like, if for the fans that were still in attendance at the show, when the show went off the air, the whole AEW roster came out and they paid all the respects to Stain. And it was just a fantastic send-off. And that's how you ended, man. So Stain is officially done with wrestling. I just don't know what they're doing now with the tag team titles. We'll have to wait and see. The only thing announced for Dynamite is Konosuke Takeshita. Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is going to be fighting his Aussie Open buddy, Kyle Fletcher. Because Kyle Fletcher came out after Ospreay won his match with Takeshita. And Ospreay, he shook Kyle Fletcher's hand, hugged him, and then that's when they showed the match graphic. And they even had a new logo, too, with Ospreay and Fletcher on it with the new AEW logo for Dynamite. So that is the first match announced for Dynamite on Wednesday, Ospreay versus Fletcher. There you have it. So we're going on almost an hour here, but I had to get through everything. It was a long card, but I went through everything, as you can see there. So that's it, guys. My overall thoughts: these matches were great. Honestly, not one bad match. My favorite match of the night was 100% Konosuke Takeshita and Will Ospreay. That was the fucking banger. That was the match of the night and the potential match of the year, without a doubt. I also loved Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson, FTR BBC, BCC. I keep saying BBC. It's BCC. And the main event was solid too. In the three-way. Literally every single match was fucking delivered. But the best match was Ospreay and Takeshita. Well, I'm going to be getting out of here, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. And if you haven't already watched the prediction video, go and watch it. And then if you haven't watched the pay-per-view yet, go and watch it. Let me know what you guys thought. My name's Ryan Winchester. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, favorite, turn on the bell for all notifications for all my future content, all my future uploads. Oh, and lastly, my boy Chris, Dual X Infinity, shout out to him. And shout out to my boy Josh, the B07. These two came out with me. And they were at the Gio's house with the rest of the boys, and the rest of the guys you saw in the World's End review, they were all there too. So shout out to Dulux Infinity and Josh the Beast 07 for being there. And I also wanted to shout out Chris as well, because I was a part of his most recent project on his channel, Chris Cosmic. We filmed it on Wednesday night, and he uploaded it earlier in the day. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave that in the link box in the description, that box down below, so you can go and check it out. And let me know what you think. So we got a lot more cool stuff happening for future content. So stay tuned, everyone. But we're getting out of here. So I will see you all in the next one. And you guys have a fantastic night. And we'll have to see what happens next. But next up, we have AEW Big Business March 13th. And then we have the new pay-per-view, which is announced at April 21st. AEW Dynasty or Dynasty. I don't know how you pronounce it. Dynasty or some shit like that. There you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out of here. Have a good one.